Anyway, Supreme Court allows a broad enforcement of Trump asylum rule. Joining us on 710 KURV's Pallavi Ahluwalia. She's an immigration attorney. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. So can you kind of give us a gist of what this rule is?
Well, the rule that was announced a few months back was that all asylum seekers that are coming in from Central America specifically are going to be, if they're passing through a third country, say, for example, or a second country, which could be Mexico here, then they're supposed to apply for asylum in the country where they've passed rather than applying for it in the U.S. So basically, it's a reason to be able to reject the asylum requests that are coming into the border based on that rule that was announced.
Yeah, this is Davis Rankin. Is there any, well, let me see. So if they're coming from El Salvador, they have to get to Mexico, they have to go through Mexico theoretically, and then they have to appeal to some Mexican government official, I guess, for shelter before they can come to the U.S. Am I right about that?
Correct. So what this lift of the injunction that's happening right now, or has been announced by the Supreme Court, or has been, we have a quick judgment. So this is not on the merits of the case, but this is more a procedure whether there's a lift of the injunction which was issued by a lower court and a district federal court in San Francisco, and then again it was put to some limited enforcement by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and now again the district court went back and enjoined it, and again the Ninth Circuit intervened, and now we have the Supreme Court of the United States that has stepped in, and so this has happened to and fro a few times. And this is where the current administration can enforce new rules that generally forbid asylum applications from migrants who have traveled through another country on their way to the United States without being denied asylum in that country. So basically, they have to go through an asylum process in the third country that they pass through and then apply there and get the adjudication before they can come here and apply. So basically it's a pushback.
So if somebody's coming from El Salvador, they have to apply for asylum in Mexico and then apply for it here?
Right. So if Mexico denies it, then here. Correct.
Okay.
How long does it take Mexico to process an asylum request?
No clue. I mean, this is all new. So when it was announced several months back, right, after that, it did get enjoined. That means that the district, federal district court in San Francisco, which had enjoined this, did not let this rule go forward. So the administration could not deny any asylum claims based on this rule that they had announced because it was enjoined. Now that injunction is lifted, so the government can do this while the merits of the case are still being decided.
How long is it going to take to decide the merits of the case?
Well, it's a slow process to go up to be heard on the merits. So it's going to go through, the hearing there, then it's going to go through the Ninth Circuit, then it's going to be, then it'll move up if challenged by, whatever the decision is at the Ninth Circuit court level, then it'll be taken up or not by the Supreme Court.
Correct? So we're going to continue. Yeah, so we're going to continue doing this over and over again because at the end of the day, doesn't this decision kind of like just null and void everybody else's decision when it comes to this because they are the final decision when it comes to law like this?
No. So the Supreme Court has not said that this is a valid rule or that it had to go through a different process or the legislature or to change the asylum rules. The Supreme Court has not made a decision based on that. It's just right now just lifted the injunction while the case is pending. So there was an injunction that was sought and was given earlier, which is like while we're arguing the merits of what this announcement or this rule is by the administration, can we process asylum claims or not? So the injunction said, well, you cannot enforce this new rule. And now the Supreme Court says you can enforce the new rule, but it's not speaking towards whether the rule on its merit is valid or not.
Well, I thought that in cases like this, when the court allows the challenged procedure or rule or law to go forth, that means they believe that the thing under challenge will eventually prevail.
Well, it does seem to give an opinion because this decision came 7-2
Oh,
It
wow.
does give an opinion on the court. We had only Justice Sotomayor and Ginsburg who dissented.
It's a done deal.
And we don't need the reasoning of the other judges that said that this was okay to do so. So it's right now, we don't know their opinions, but yes, you're right. By just saying even that we're lifting the injunction, they're just kind of giving a little bit of their opinion on it.
It's a wink, wink, the old Monty Python wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
And again, it could just not work that way, and maybe it will be analyzed on the merits of it and whether the government did this the right way or they had to go through the Congress and get the law changed and approved and get the will of people in it by not just doing it as an executive decision.
Pallavi Ahluwalia is an immigration lawyer in Washington, D.C., where there's
No, I'm in Dallas, Texas. Sorry.
Why did I think Washington?
I don't know.
Texas.
Well, there's still lots of foreigners in
I
Dallas.
can practice there as well, though, as an immigration attorney in D.C., but I'm in Dallas, Texas, and the firm is Ahluwalia Law Offices. But thank you.
There's lots of foreigners in Dallas. So, not to be too aggressive and not to be cheerful necessarily, but that would strike me that, it's going to be damn near impossible for people to get to U.S. shores to ask for asylum, just because of the physicality of it. First,
Right. With this rule, what they're saying is, why the U.S. go somewhere else, file asylum somewhere else. So basically, it's kind of doing away with the asylum rules and the refugees that we were taking earlier, right, at the border, and to say now, no, you can't do it here without you having gone through a process and getting a decision from another country.
Well, and I'm trying not to let my biases show.
Sure.
But people who are not happy with the immigration approach of the Trump administration will talk a lot about, give me you're tired, you're poor. We've always been a place for refugees to come, as if to say anyone who can get here gets to stay here, whether as a citizen or not. Has that been American law and policy, that if you can get here, you get to stay here?
No, I mean, if you've come here and you're seeking refuge and you are meeting the criteria of asylum, and you have to go through a long, protracted process. It's not like you come here and you're a citizen. I mean, getting citizenship is a long cry, a far, far cry from just being admitted while the government is considering your asylum claim. And you have to meet the merits of it. And the people that have been able to qualify do actually have horrific things that have happened to them in those countries. And that's why they come. For the rest of them, the one that just use asylum as as just a claim, and they don't have anything that supports them, eventually do end up with deportation orders. Now, whether they listen to those deportation orders and leave the country or not is a different matter,
story.
Right? Yeah, that would be a different story. But it's not like the judges are just approving anyone that says asylum. They are put through a thorough review.
Yeah, I just think people also need to understand that what the asylum rule is and how people, I think, are just coming to this country because coming to this country because of economic hardship or because you're facing an abusive relationship. And I don't mean to sound heartless, but that does not qualify you for asylum claims. And there are really people around the world that are being persecuted because of their religion or because of their sexual orientation that are being killed. But Pallavi, we gotta go. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right. Okay. Thank you, you guys.
Yes, thank you. We'll talk to you soon. Pallavi Ahluwalia is an immigration attorney and our guest on 710 KURV.